Hello, this is Gio. Hey, look what I have here. I have this vintage door latch. This is actually called a rim night latch. And this is actually the Elgin brand night latch, as you can kind of see here on the handle. And this was probably manufactured in the late 1930s to early 1950s. Now, these are still being manufactured today. They're not as popular for sure, but they were a popular kind of like a door latch that kind of holds your door, maybe a shed or even a gate. And they were pretty popular. Now, I want to share this one with you today because this one's a little different than perhaps some of the other ones that you might have seen for sale, either vintage or new. This one doesn't have what is called a snib. Now, a snib is a little kind of a switch that is typically right here that will lock it in place, either as kind of a deadbolt. So if it's retracted like this, you can kind of hit a little switch and you can't move it anymore. Also, when you turn the handle, you hit the switch and it will lock in place in the open position like this. So this is a no-snib model, and these kind of went out of favor. They were actually replaced with the snib, and I'll show you why in a second. But basically the way this operates, and so again, the latch is right here. To retract the latch, of course, you rotate this little thumb handle here, and if you rotate it a quarter of a turn clockwise, you'll see that the latch retracts and actually locks in place. And to reverse the process, you just kind of apply a little bit of pressure counterclockwise, and it will retract back in place. Now, there is a spring that controls that, and so it kind of does the same thing as that little snib switch. So when you turn it with the snib, you would just lock it in place and it would hold. But in this case, it's the spring and some kind of latch inside that holds it in place. And so that's the main difference. Now, these kind of dropped out of popularity for a couple of reasons. One, when it's in the engaged position like this, you could actually just put like a credit card or what have you and kind of push this out of place. You can see this is not locked. And so what the snib did when you engaged the snib, it put it in a dead locking position. So this, the latch would not move. And so it acts as a deadbolt. This does not act as a deadbolt, as you can see here. Also, when it's in the retracted position, these sometimes the spring or the mechanisms aged with time and it didn't hold as well as it should. And sometimes they kind of re-engaged. And you could get locked in or out of wherever you're trying to get out of. So that was a security issue or a safety issue. You can get locked in or out. Also, these are easily knocked. So if you're kind of moving things in or out or somebody hits this by accident, it could re-engage and lock you in or out of wherever you are. And so that's generally how this latch works. Now, I don't have the rim strike or the keeper that's on the other side. That would be on the door rim itself. I only have the lock, but I figured I'd do one step farther than just showing you how this works. I'm going to open this thing up and see what it looks like inside. And as you can see, it looks like it just has a standard single screw. So I'll go ahead and use a screwdriver. And I'm not sure what it looks like inside, but I'm sure it has a spring. Okay, so with the screw out, it looks like maybe this is just a plate. And yes, indeed, it looks like it's just coming out like that. And this is the back side. So it looks like it has some kind of a device right there as well. I'm not sure what that is for. But so let's see, you can see the spring right here, and this is like this is the latch itself, and it looks like it has two legs there. And so when you twist this thing, it looks like it comes around. So let's see if I got this right. So this is the this is the clockwise rotation, and this is the counterclockwise rotation. So it looks like there's little, I guess, little feet here on these legs, as you can see here, and those look like they hook in right there and there. So we'll go ahead and put these back in place. Hopefully it'll hold in place without the plate. So it's like this, okay. We might have to hold this with our fingers as we rotate. So as we rotate clockwise, you can see that little plate, and the legs are moving up because the feet are attached to that little plate there that's spinning. And then when it gets to a quarter of a turn, it locks in place, and it's probably because just the orientation of this circular plate there and where the feet are, it just kind of locks in place naturally. And then when you do counterclockwise, it just snaps back. Of course, it snapped back too far there, but there you go. And that's generally, you need the spring for the tension, and it's this little circular plate here that looks like it has a little lift there, and I'm not sure what that lift is for. But that is a pretty simple mechanism. So, oops. Let's try it again. I have to hold it in place there. And so that comes up and locks in place. And then it falls back in place. Now, looking at this, so I'm not sure what this is. So if I put it back in, interesting. I'm not exactly sure what this does. So I rotate it, locks in place, and this does not look like it rotates. So if I take this out and let's say rotate it the opposite way, like that, put it back in place, it does not seem to work. So I'm not exactly sure what this little plate is for. If anybody knows what this little spinning component is for, it may be associated with a key mechanism, perhaps. Let me actually put it back here. Rotate it in a locking position like that, and then maybe rotate this a little bit and see what happens. No, doesn't seem to re-engage anything here. Here, let me retract it again. And let's see if I can actually, oh yes, so it does look like it will work if I rotate this, but it does not lock, okay? And then when I do it the opposite way, it does not lock. So it looks like maybe from the other side of the door, this could actually operate the latch, but it doesn't actually do the locking mechanism. So that's interesting. So I don't have the other end of this to kind of show this, but clearly it does look like there is probably a different handle that you could install on the opposite side of the door. So that's kind of interesting. So that is how this rim lock or rim latch works. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button at the bottom of the screen, and even consider subscribing to my channel. I have many more videos to come. Bye-bye.